join us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television tonight. The three different captions of Le Monde, that's a French newspaper, on the preoccupying health situation of the presidential couple triggers the reaction of the government spokesperson Issa Shiroma Bakari during a meeting with the press this afternoon in the nation's capital describes the articles as false. And also in this newscast, CEMAC member countries still unable to attain their objectives due to their political differences and leadership tussle. We hear in this newscast a reaction of an expert who is going to be telling us why the institution is up to now still failing. Stay with us. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome back. Welcome back from the weekend. You are watching the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right away with the French newspaper Le Monde that in 24 hours publishes three different headlines on the health situation of Mr. Biya and his wife, who are presently on a visit in Europe. The three captions centered on the unstable health condition of the head of state and his spouse, put in different words, though the various captions have so far been put in different words. Many have described the publications as an attempt to manipulate the public opinion by the newspaper, and the presidential couple was and is still on the visit in Europe. Now, following the publication of Le Monde, that's the French newspaper, Issa Shiroma Bakari, as we announced in the headlines, the Cameroon's Minister of Communication declares as false reports that the health condition of Mr. Biya and wife took them to Europe. The communication minister was speaking to the press today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, after the headlines of Le Monde triggered debates in the country. We shall be coming back to that in our subsequent newscast. Now, newly appointed military officials have been told to tackle security challenges that is currently plaguing the country and also defend Cameroon's territorial integrity. That was in the nation's capital today. The Defense Minister Edgar Alemebengor was speaking while installing them into their functions today, as Roland Akong reports.
Colonel Philomon Gar is the first woman to command a territorial post in the Cameroonian army. The 52-year-old graduate from EMIA was appointed last February 28 as new commander of the Air Support Battalion No. 1.
I feel good. I feel recognized. I feel revalorized. I'm confident. I've learned my job. I do it on my best. And dealing with people, I will try to be just and apply equity and be myself, and most of all, remain professional.
Francis Ekoso is a new commander of the 10th Group of the Fire Brigade. Appointed last February 28, the graduate from EMIA has been in the fire brigade since 2001.
This confidence that has been bestowed on me by the President of the Republic is maybe symbol of the appreciation of my direct command, my seniors, who judge that I should be able to command this fire rescue battalion, for the safety of human life and property.
Colonel Antoine Bengono is the new director of EMIA, the Combined Armed Services Military Academy. The 51-year-old and graduate from EMIA, appointed last February 28, is urged by the High Command to ensure that physical endurance, discipline, rigor, and moral rectitude be the guiding post for the recruitment of young Cameroonian men and women into the Combined Armed Services Military Academy. The Minister of Defense described the newly installed as apt to tackle the security challenges in the country and preserve its social security and territorial integrity.
And prior to the ceremony in the nation's capital, the minister was equally in the southwest region of the country, where he instructed the two newly appointed military officials to the southwest region to ensure that movements in and out of the Cameroon-Nigerian border are checked. Minister Edgar Allen Mebengo was speaking while installing them into their functions, as Derek Jatu reports.
The Cameroon Defense Minister announced his arrival at the Buea Independence Square. Minister Allen Edgar Mebengo is here to preside at the installation of Colonel Eyanga Sovereign, commander of the 21st Motorized Infantry Battalion, and Navy Captain Zul Lucien, commander of the 10th Military Sector. The two military officials were appointed last February 28, 2015.
Vous reconnaîtrez désormais comme votre chef le colonel Eyanga Séverin, ici présent. Commandant le secteur militaire 10, le capitaine de vaisseau Julicien, ici présent.
The security dust of the nation is no doubt challenging. The still present maroon attitude of an enemy in the far north region is still making headlines on the manuscripts of the different pillars of the nation. And as drafting and calculations on how to put an end to the insurgent is gradually backing home with some positivity, commissioning the two commanders into their functions, Minister Allen Edgar Mebengo reminded Colonel Eyanga Sovereign and Captain Zul Lucien that they are in charge of a region that share a long border with Nigeria. For that reason, they are expected to keep guard, and the maritime zone security chain should not at any time witness a weak link. Nothing should leave or get into the country unnoticed, and to have an enabling working environment, frank collaboration with the authorities of the region must be assured. The materials at their disposal must be utilized judiciously, the minister added, for there shall be no room for managerial lapses.
And it was under tight security that the newly recruited members of the Rapid Intervention Battalion were being installed into their functions in Limbe, still in the southwest region of the country. Entrance and exit into the B headquarters in Manowo Bay was thoroughly checked prior to the event. The close to 2,000 soldiers would be dispatched in the days ahead in Marwa to fight against terrorism. Our reporter Davison Maimo has more.
The military police of the B are not leaving any stone unturned, especially at this period when the security of the nation is on test. Vehicles searched seriously and yet are not allowed to enter the camp except special ones with laissez-passer. Visitors who have come to celebrate with their loved ones who are graduating are made to understand that Manowo Bay is the central command unit of the Cameroon Elite Force, and as such, things are different, with every bags thoroughly searched before entering the main gate. The style in ceremony of this magnitude at the B Central Command is unique. First, the presiding officer have to be received at the entrance in a special way, and that happens to be General Philip Mpai, received by the Colonel of B, Colonel Buba. At this beautiful grandstand that is being used for its very first time, as construction work is still ongoing, the population gathered, with some struggling to take photos with their phones so as to say, "I was there myself." From the old, the young, and even the children, despite the hot weather, were all excited to be part of the event. The spirit at which the young soldiers saluted their superior shows proof of their readiness and loyalty they have pledged in defending the green, red, yellow color of Cameroon. In fact, the excitement is just too much for the visitors, as the display of the B band is a taste of the special unit of the Cameroon military, the B.
And now the moderator and synod clerk of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon have been told to unite Christians of the church, fight against terrorism, fight against tribalism rather, and also backstabbing. The outgoing moderator, Dr. Festus Asana, met the declaration yesterday while during their induction ceremony, which took place in the Southwest Regional Headquarters of Buea. Derek Jato has the details.
The pre-election and election Cold War recorded at the PCC was the focus of induction ceremony, with the outgoing moderator calling on the new team to maintain discipline, uphold constitution of the church, and unite different fractions in the church.
Are you ready to accept the offices of moderator?
The Right Reverend Dr. Festus Asana, while inducting Reverend Dr. Funky Samuel as new moderator and Reverend Babila Foncha as synod clerk, equally urged them to sustain the church, guide and strengthen fellow pastors and members of the church. Standing temptation, promotion of love and unity, Reverend Dr. Festus Asana said is the main fruit which Christians must grow spiritually. The Christians and guests who answered present were then called to accompany the new team in transforming the church. In his sermon drawn from Romans 12 verse 2, the new moderator urged Christians to be transformers, because Christendom is harboring more conformists than transformers.
I refuse to believe that our church must run on the platform of favoritism, where ethnic discrimination is promoted for the benefit of a few.
Right Reverend Dr. Funky Samuel said PCC must rise up to fight against negative ethnicity, platform of favoritism, rise above division and acrimony. The new moderator said blackmailing, gossip, backstabbing must stop in PCC. Fraction created must unite to one, and the ethnic crisis that has polluted the church must stop. The ceremony was attended by dignitaries like Senator Musonge, Amatutu Muna, Senator Mbele Mukichas, Kunak Boss, among others.
And the 7th CEMAC Day is being celebrated today, when protectionism, geopolitical differences, as well as leadership tussle have been advanced as impeding factors to the free circulation concept initiated by CEMAC member countries. An international relations analyst is of the opinion that the CEMAC biometric passport would take years to be realized if these problems are not resolved. The expert was speaking to our reporter for Hansen Chanji, who tells us more in the following report.
Free circulation within the Central African sub-region is still a nightmare to travelers, despite resolutions arrived at by member states of the Economic and Monetary Community of Central Africa to allow free circulation with the CEMAC biometric passport. A Cameroonian who prefers to be anonymous tells us that the concept of free circulation exists only on paper. Two countries, Gabon and Equatorial Guinea, are still putting draconian measures to block the entry of foreigners into their country.
Il y a un problème d'intégration et un problème avec la Guinée équatoriale qui n'accepte pas.
There is a problem of integration, especially with Equatorial Guinea, who are refusing to accept the resolutions arrived at. They think that Cameroonians will one day rule them and relegate them to the background. Even in Gabon, I suffered while traveling there. I had a visa, but told to obtain an air visa. Now I don't know the difference between a land visa and an air visa, especially when it's Cameroonians. It is terrible. Chad, Central African Republic and Congo-Brazzaville, our anonymous interviewee continued, are not strict. For someone can even use a valid national identity card before obtaining a visa at the airport.
No, au Congo, quand on arrive au Congo,
you can go to Congo by obtaining a visa even on a Congolese soil. You just need to present your valid identity card. A journalist, writer and an international relations expert says CEMAC, created in 1994, is yet to achieve its major projects, such as the creation of a biometric CEMAC passport, which was to take effect by 2014.
On peut notamment parler du passeport biométrique.
There are several projects that CEMAC earmarked and that have not been achieved or concretized. Projects like the biometric passport, which was to take effect by 2014. Unfortunately, that's not the case. If these problems continue to exist today, Eric Yombi says it is because some countries are practicing protectionism, like Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. Political leaders are at loggerheads over leadership and ideas. The body is also suffering from financial and technical bankruptcy, and at times have to bow to the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, which has many members.
On peut notamment parler de la question du leadership prépondérant.
The head of state and government who are at loggerheads over leadership, loggerheads over ideologies, and this has frozen the circulation. In order to resolve these problems, Eric Yombi is of the opinion that tax should be implemented on imported goods to raise money for the body, the putting in place of concrete measures towards attaining a common currency, an increase in intra-community trade, among others.
And earlier in this newscast, we told you how the 3 different captions of Le Monde, that is a French newspaper, on the preoccupying health situation of the presidential couple has triggered the reaction of the government spokesperson Issa Shouma Bakari in Yaoundé. He addressed the press during a meeting today, and he said that he declared as false the reports on the preoccupying health condition of Mr. Biya and wife, who are currently in Europe as we speak. He was speaking to our reporter Roland Akong. Let's have an excerpt of Issa Shouma Bakari.
The head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya and wife, are currently in a short private stay in Europe, and their state of health is in no circumstances to be worried about. Cameroonians are not ignorant of the open, ill-fated and malicious conspiracy underpinning these repeated attacks perpetrated against our country through the media. But these denigrators and other prophets of doom should be aware that they will never jeopardize the determination of the Cameroonian nation and its leader, His Excellency Paul Biya, to lead our country toward its prodigious destiny and inexorable growth.
That is an outing of Cameroon's communication minister after the 3 publications of Le Monde, a French newspaper, on the preoccupying health of the President of the Republic of Cameroon and wife. Now, fans, relatives, and well-wishers remember Pierre Sanjo Roger, popularly known as Lapiro Dembanga, 1 year after his death. The artist died last March 16 in 2014 while on exile in the United States of America. Jacques Ekwekinge reports that his works are still fresh on the minds of many Cameroonians. His report.
The news fell like a bomb blast to many fans, sympathizers, and the Cameroon nations as a whole after the death was made public that March 16, 2014 of prolific artist and songwriter Lambo Pierre Roger, popularly known as Lapiro Dembanga. The artist and his family had spent barely 2 years in the United States after being granted asylum. This was after he was arrested on April 9, 2008 and charged with complicity in looting, destruction of property, instilling public disorder during the February 2008 uprising. The singer spent 3 years in the Newberg prison under precarious conditions. Backed by some international organization, Lapiro Dembanga was released from prison on the 8th of April 2011, 1 day before the official end of his sentence. On the 2nd of September 2012, Lapiro Dembanga and his wife and 3 of their children left Cameroon for the United States after being granted asylum. In late 2012, it was reported that Lambo Pierre Roger was seeking a publisher for his book Cabale politico-judiciaire or La mort programmée d'un combattant de la liberté. The book is set to be released late this year. Meanwhile, in 2013, the Supreme Court annulled the judgment of the Tribunal de Grandes Instances and ordered a retrial of Lapiro Dembanga. The artist died on March 16, 2014 in the United States after an illness. In Cameroon, all activities to his honor were either banned or under strict security control. The artist is presently resting in peace in Uncle Sam's country, far from his native Quartier 12 neighborhood in Mbanga.
That is our reporter Jacques Ekwekinge there, coming back to the life of Lapiro Dembanga, who died last year, the 16th of March 2014. And just to know that commemorative activities marking the death of Lapiro are currently ongoing in Banga, that is in the Mongo division of the country. They're bringing us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for joining us. Until we meet again, goodbye.